Okay, so Krishnamurti, before starting as an independent, he was a part of the Theosophical Society, which is like a kind of brotherhood, universal brotherhood, and they are occupied with the comparative study of religions and philosophy and science. You could say that they all together try to search truth, and they do it through all religions and people from everywhere. Yeah, a comparative study. But after he left and he started the schools, and the idea is actually that that people find their innate mission. What are we here for? What are we struggling for? What is it that you love doing? And but his idea is that to find that you have to uncondition yourself from everything. Let's say the ego is a construction of the past, and it is not something that belongs to the present. So we need to understand this whole movement of our thoughts and sensations and emotions. If we can see through that, you get unconditioned somehow. Or he thinks that this, let's say, fear or the urge to be successful or the desire for comfort, for material comfort, it all causes fear. And this fear is an obstacle in relating or really understanding life as it is. That's an important aspect. So traditional schools, according to him, they don't really educate you to understand life. They just educate you to fit in the structure, and the society as it always is. So his the philosophy behind his school that there's a kind of there's a lot of freedom of authority, freedom of punishments or rewards, freedom of let's say conditioning, and freedom also of the ego. It's like you need to find your true self, find a way to what are you here for, but without causing damage to anybody, to any human being or anything that is alive, to the universe, something like that. And also freedom from ideals and fixed opinions. That's a hard one because, well, imagine you are a parent and you have a child. You want the best for your child. And imagine you have some kind of ideal, yeah, my child should get a diploma because with the diploma then you can find a job. So you are already thinking in terms of success, in terms of material welfare. And all that causes fear, and that is an obstacle to find or to really be connected or to really understand life. Of course, they teach there, and it's about knowledge, but it's not the most important thing in life. I think he would consider somebody with a high diploma or highly educated person is not the one who is really understanding life. You can disconnect mind from the body. You can, I mean, you're not integrating everything in how you are related to life if you only develop your knowledge. And you can also see this difference in the that was for me very interesting in how there's no education method, because nowadays if you go to a teacher degree they more teach you how to we teach you methods, how to build a class, how to get class management. It's all like tricks and methods or ways to measure or ways to do it. While in his schools there's no method. Every teacher should be free to find his own way of teaching. But more important is that he studies his pupils, that he understands their behavior and also their humors or how they feel, just to find out how to connect with the student, with the pupil. It's more like treating students as an individual and not as some kind of robot, or there's not one way to relate to a pupil. So what is important in this religious education, you could say that he uses the word religion in the original sense, which means something like belonging to, or actually being connected to everybody, or the whole world. And so in this way, he doesn't, I mean, everybody's welcome in his schools, all people from all religious backgrounds, social backgrounds, but he will never accept, let's say, he would never force a kind of religion onto you. You can only research what you're here for if you understand the construction you made of yourself, or how your way of thinking today came there. How did it came there? Which desire, which need is behind that whole process of thinking? What I also like about Krishnamurti schools is that there's no hierarchy. Hierarchy? Like, do you say this in English? Hierarchy?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. So, you know that nowadays, we have the children rights, and children cannot go to work before children went to work, and so the relationship from adults to children is also different than before. Maybe we give them less responsibilities in a certain way, because they shouldn't do work, for example. But it's really interesting how this creates a different kind of relation between adults and children, also in schools, for example. So this way of relating is like, it just eliminates power, it eliminates fear, because of course if you have to obey, there's fear. You cannot just be yourself. You will also see that in the practical schools, they're all together. There's no homework. There's a good division of the schedules. Like, for example, they do difficult subjects in the morning, and there are many breaks. And there's a good balance between physical and mental education. What I, for example, like are some subjects which are intercultural, and it's more like, for example, one man, one earth, and that would be like, one man would be a kind of overview of all the political and religious and philosophical movements, and one earth is really to get insight in how man were treating the earth and how everything is really connected. I mean, you're ecologically, to, as there is no authority, nobody can tell you if you're being ego-driven or not. So it's all a research on your own, and I. Yeah, well, it's difficult, but of course, why do we all think there's a kind of right education? Maybe it's better to just have different schools so that people can send their children to school they really believe in, or that fits with their goals. And maybe there should also be a way in which children get to know other schools, because I see that many children don't know all the alternative education, so they never found out there are other ways to grow up. I think also parents are not so well informed about all the other possibilities.